Talk. This is a new series that I've been conducting for the last week or so, and today I just want to give you a basic overview of where global suicide is today and a core part of my research that I think will help a lot of people. It's an urgent public concern in the US. Reference point: the Director General Surgeon looking at loneliness, which is it can severely lead on to depression, which is one of the most highest contributors to suicide in the US and globally. And there it is in front of you. You've got loneliness, depression, and thoughts of wanting to end your life. Every 40 seconds, somebody sadly takes their own life. Who's at risk? Well, evidence points towards this particular age group being one of the highest risks there is, and it can happen to all of us, but it's the second leading cause of death. This data is pretty old, but it's still quite prevalent today. And at the end of the day, I think with your mental fitness, which I'll explain to you in the last slide, we don't always know what's around the corner. And in life, sometimes, yes, young adults, 15 to 29, anyone that's aged under 18 is more so at risk because sadly their brain is still trying to mature, it's still trying to work itself out and learn things in life. And you could argue that support may be sometimes better in a younger age group than it is in adults, because in some parts of the world access to mental health and mental fitness services is not always there, and in some countries they don't have anything. So, and that's my argument here with this particular case. In terms of risk assessment, we're never going to have enough services globally to support all the people that live on this planet. So what my research tries to celebrate is trying to get people to understand how to manage their thoughts, their feelings and behaviors, which is their emotional intelligence, which I will try to cap off at the end. So here you've got a slide which basically kind of looks at the risk more, who's at risk again. People with mental health disorders. It's a sad case. Depression is one of those contributors to that, and it only takes a couple of weeks for someone to sadly experience a low mood and drift into. I say drift. There's different ways that we fall into depression, and manic depression or it's goes on longer, and it's that negative feeling sometimes of not wanting to do things. And you could be the busiest person in the world, you could be so happy, and it can just hit you. So it's about understanding your thoughts and where they're coming from, but the risk is there, as seen from the World Health Organization, between suicide and mental disorders. So it's a hard one because we all go through stress and anxiety in our life, and we don't get taught, sadly, in schools and colleges how to manage that effectively. It's getting better, but it's nowhere near the levels that it should be. Methods of suicide, believe it or not, 20% of it is global suicides is pesticide from agriculture, and you've also got the hanging and the firearms. So there's a lot of problems in America, and I understand that in terms of gun crime and mass killings, and it's an awful thing. I know it's in the institution to have a right to have a weapon. I mean, I can't really override Parliament, but what I can say is that some of the principles and policies that are coming out are trying to prevent people access to those. So again, it's about risk assessment, but then I'd argue there's not always enough people around to risk assess, and those risk assessments take time in any global mental health system or health system, as it were. So these are some of the fundamental problems and challenges that we face trying to tackle and lower global suicide. And this is my prevention here: mental fitness. At the end of the day, we all have a capacity, and this is a term that's used in under the Mental Health Capacity Act in the UK, but capacity in a soft term means that we have the capability, if we have capacity, to make decisions for our own self, to safeguard our brains from stress and anxiety, or to at least work through different things that will affect us. And there is no magic pill, as it were, but through educational videos like this and re-educating ourselves around our thoughts, how we process things in life, we can get much more better at strengthening our mental fitness, that's the brain, the health in the brain, but will safeguard us away from depression. So we can lower the risk of depression, which does lead on to suicide, in some cases, more often not most of the cases. And this is really important. So we need to re-educate ourselves against, okay, why am I feeling negative today? Why am I feeling sad? These are really important questions we have to provide in terms of a learning curriculum based around good mental fitness, or what some of you might be formerly known as mental health. I hope this short lecture talk gives you some insights around the fundamental issues we have in global suicide, and just a slight opener in terms of my prevention, my strategy in terms of my own mental fitness offering to the global public around how we manage our stress and anxiety more better. Thank you.